So I read this quote: stay detached from the how. Your job is to hold the vibration, not force the pathway. So when I read that, I was like, okay, I got it, I hear it. So to be detached from the how makes sense to me, right? Because if I got caught up in, for example, the how to write a book, if someone said to me, how did you do that? And I'm like, I just did it, almost to the effect of like when I ask my godchildren, how did you know that? They go, I just know. You know, they're 4 and 7, they just know. So there's something to be said that not all the time do you need to have the how in place. You don't necessarily need to know, right? Like, if you had to wait to have the how and the no and everything before you acted, you would never do anything. You would never be successful, I don't think, in anything, right? Like, obviously, there's exceptions to the rule. If you want to be a surgeon, you need to know how. You want to fight a fire and be a fireman, you need to know how. However, like in real life, if there's a fire and you would put water on it, right? Unless it's a fire that doesn't need water. The point being is that for the most part, we have all we need to know to start. But a lot of us get caught up in the needing to have the perfect office before I can start writing, and the wall has to be the right color. And I have to have all of this knowledge. I have to have all these degrees and all of this before I can start to do, right? So I think that's bullshit, and I think it's not true. I think it's a narrative that we tell ourselves, that we've been sold, that we have to have all of these things before we're allowed to even start, right? It's funny. You always use the example of, a personal trainer at the gym, how to get a job, they make sure you have to have all these credentials, you have to have your NASM and all of this stuff. Meanwhile, there can be someone at the same gym who's been working out impeccably for the last 18, 19, 20, 30 years. They don't have a certificate, but what they have is life experience. They show up every day, and it's evident in how they look, how they walk. They're radiating all of it. They're just chef's kiss. And then you have this other person who did all the work, and on paper, they're perfect, but you look at them and you're kind of like, if I walked into the room, who would I choose? I'm obviously going to choose the person that is the embodiment of what they're selling or what I'm looking to achieve, right? So I think that we should stop being caught up in the how. And obviously you do need, some skill set and some knowledge, but I don't think that you need to wait until you have everything. I don't think that you need a college degree all the time. Obviously, like I said, if you want to be a lawyer or a doctor, you need to have degrees because that's required barrier to entry for those careers. But I don't believe that you don't have to have a degree in writing to write a book. You don't have to have a certificate for being a life coach. If you have true life experience and true things that you can show and say, like, hey, I've been through it and I'm living the truth of what I'm going to show you and share with you. So I think I know the more that we can separate ourselves from the I need to have before I can begin bullshit, the farther off you'll be. Right? You can achieve anything you want to do. You can be anything you want to be. Right? Donald Trump is president, and I'm not getting political. My point is, he said it and he is it. Right? So you can do that too. If you want to be president, I didn't say any of this was going to be easy, but you can do it. So don't get caught up in the whole thing of you need to have to be to do. You don't. If you have a dream and you believe in it strongly enough and you want to truly do it, right? Because a lot of people say they want to be fit, they want to be an author, they want to be wealthy, they want blah, 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 whatever it is they want. They want to find the perfect wife. They want to find the perfect husband. But then you look at their habits, you look at their choices, and I'm like, no, you don't. You absolutely don't. Because if you did, you wouldn't have done X, Y, and Z. And it's not a judgment, it's just pure facts, right? If you want to do something, if you want to lose weight, then you go the route of losing weight. You don't go and have all the cake and all the ice cream, and it just doesn't make sense, right? So before you say to yourself and to other people, this isn't working, go back and reflect and ask yourself, am I truly participating in my own success the way that I should be if I truly want what I say that I want, right? So if you truly are looking for your partner, are you being intentional on your dates? Are you being intentional on your app? Are you being intentional on how you're meeting and interacting with people, right? If you're going on 15 dates a day, clearly I don't think you're having discernment, right? Because you're just meeting everyone, and I don't think it's a numbers game. If you're being intentional about your work and where you want to be and grow, if that's your thing and you want to climb the corporate ladder or you want to launch your own business, what are you doing to truly get there and to do that? Or are you just saying it and then blaming all the other things that don't actually fucking matter on why you're not there? Because the only reason you're not where you don't want to be is because you don't want to be there. Because if you did, you would be there. You'd be surpassing there. And there's perfect examples of that around you in your own life and everything. I have, friends that have incredible careers that you wouldn't even think are possible. Why is that? Because they woke up and they decided that that's the life that they wanted to live, right? I have friends that do other things that are completely like, you're like, wait, you get paid to do that, right? I have a friend that tours the country and the world actually singing. That's it. That's it. Her own stuff, other things with orchestras, and someone else might be like, oh, that's not possible, that's not real. It most certainly is real. Anything can be real. You just have to want it, be able to see it in your mind's eye, whatever that looks like for you, right? And then do it. Do the steps to get there. And it's not going to be comfortable. It's never comfortable. It's never easy, but that's the point. And that's why most people just give up and stop, right? I often say that you can tell a lot from a person based on their gym routine and how, their fitness, right? Because if they don't have some kind of routine, and I'm not saying you have to look a certain way, I'm just talking about bare minimum of movement and care, self-care, right? It tells you all that you need to know. If someone lacks discipline, lacks commitment, lacks dedication, lacks follow through. So I think that, it's a really very good quote that we do just need to we need to start stopping worrying about the how and just feel like, this is what I want, I'm gonna do it. Just like I've been hemming and hawing about making these videos, now I'm just forcing myself to do it. And the more that I do them, the easier it is. Before I was like, oh, what am I gonna talk about? What if blah, 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 blah? What if whatever? Just record the video. You wanna record videos? You think you have things to say that are amazing and helpful? So record the video and put it out there. And what comes, comes. And the point is, you're doing what you wanna do, and all of those little things get you closer to where you want to be. And by me doing this, I'm already living the life that I want to live because I'm actively doing it. I'm not thinking about it, I'm doing, right? We're not trying, we're doing.